Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel, and this is my initial comparison of the Kyrie Low 4 and the Kyrie Low 5. So the Kyrie Low 4, the general release colorways are going for 110 bucks. The Kyrie Low 5, we don't know the price yet, but I'm guessing it's going to be 110 bucks, or maybe they will increase the price by $10, which sometimes they do, to 120 bucks, which isn't a huge deal. It's only a $10 price increase. But anyways, let's get it started right off with the tracciones, right? So for the traction, it's very different, right? So we have a very aggressive traction pattern here for the Kyrie Low 4. It kind of reminds me of like a bike tire, you know what I mean? And then here in the Kyrie Low 5, it's actually very similar to the Kyrie Infinity, right? So the Kyrie Low 4 is pretty much identical to the Kyrie 7 traction pattern, but the Kyrie Low 5 is actually a little bit different than the Kyrie Infinity, just a tiny bit. Overall, it's very similar, but there are some subtle differences, right? But anyways, the Kyrie Low 4 has really good traction, actually top tier traction, amazing bite, also bites through dust really well. Very bad on outdoor courts though, you know, my original Kyrie 7 was really bad and the outdoor courts just tore through the Kyrie 7 outsole, and the Kyrie Low 4 has the exact same outsole. So the durability is not great, and I feel like the Kyrie Low 5 durability is also going to be super bad. I mean, just like feeling it, the rubber is super soft, the grooves are really thin as well. So yeah, both of these shoes are not for outdoor, right? But I do have my hopes up for the Kyrie Low 5. I actually did play in it tonight. I just got back from the gym like an hour and a half ago. And I actually did bring the Kyrie Low 5, and also I played with the Kyrie Low 4 as well on the other foot, just to check how good the traction was and the differences in cushion and stuff like that, right? And the Kyrie Low 5 was performing really well, right? So the Kyrie Low 4 was sticking really good, but then the Kyrie Low 5 was sticking really well too, and like it was just good right out the box, which surprised me, right? And also just trying it on my wood floors, it seemed to have a good bite. I also seemed to have a little bit of a squeak as well, which I liked. So just like the Kyrie Low 4, I feel like the Kyrie Low 5 is going to be a top tier traction, which I really like. Not super surprising because Kyries usually have very good traction, right? Alright, as far as the outsole curvature goes, it's pretty much the same. Very disappointing because I miss the old school outsole curvatures. You know, like in the Kyrie 2, Kyrie 3, Kyrie 4, even in the MB1. Like, this shoe has more outsole curvature than a Kyrie. Can you guys believe that? Look at that. It starts to curve up like from right here, and then the Kyrie Low 4 and also the Kyrie Low 5 is pretty damn flat. It starts to curve like right at the edge here on the medial side. I mean, I guess it is good that the rubber does come up here on the medial side, so you do get good grip when you're doing these types of movements, like on both of the shoes, right? But other than that, there's no outsole curvature on either of the shoes, which does disappoint me. Alright, moving on to the cushioning setup, and I would say it's like the same as far as the zoom setup goes. So they both have zoom units here in the forefoot, right? But then the foam is a little bit different, right? So here in the Kyrie Low 4, it's a pretty stiff foam, right? There's not a whole lot of compression. I would say it's softer than, you know, like the Kyrie 2, Kyrie 3, Kyrie 5, you know? So it's a little bit softer than those. There's a little bit more compression, but still it's on the stiffer side of things, right? Here in the Kyrie Low 5, it did surprise me, right? So I don't know if you guys can see, but like digging my fingers into the foam, there is a good amount of compression. And just like, if you guys see the actual like compression shot, there is a good amount of compression. And also, there is a lot of compression marks on the shoe already, which is pretty crazy. So yeah, the heel definitely does feel a lot softer, which I like. So that definitely is an upgrade, right? And a court feel and everything seems very similar. And like I said, the zoom unit, I mean, it's just a 4-foot zoom unit, nothing crazy. It's not as crazy as, you know, the Kyrie Infinity zoom unit, which is the zoom stroll unit. And it feels really bouncy. There's a lot of compression and all that, right? It's definitely nowhere near that. It's just a regular 4-foot zoom unit, right? But like I said, the Kyrie Low 5 does feel better just because the foam does feel a little bit softer. So that definitely is an upgrade, which I like, but there is a little bit of a downgrade in my opinion as far as the fit goes, right? So for length, I went true to size and they both fit me very well. You know, my toes go pretty much right to the edge of both of the shoes, right? So whatever size you were here in the Kyrie Low 4, you can probably go the same size here in the Kyrie Low 5. But look at this. I don't know if you guys can see it, but the Kyrie Low 5 scrunches up a good amount more, right? And it's not crazy roomy to the point where I absolutely hate the fit. but it's a little bit roomy, and I don't like it that much. You know, here in the Kyrie Infinity, they definitely did make the fit a little bit roomier as well, especially comparing it to like the Kyrie 7 and the Kyrie 6, right? But I feel like, you know, it wasn't terrible for me, right? But it takes it another step further, and the Kyrie Low 5 feels roomier than the Kyrie Infinity, which I don't like, right? The Kyrie Low 4, super snug, which I like. Width-wise, I would say it's around the same. They're both slightly narrow and all that. It's just the toe space, which I don't like. I wish this was a little bit more snug, just in my personal opinion. But of course, I mean, like, Kyrie's have been very, very snug for like pretty much every single one of his models. So I don't know why they switched it up here in the Kyrie Low 5, but if you didn't like it in his previous models and you wanted like a little bit roomier of a fit, then the Kyrie Low 5 is a great option for you guys, right? Alright, as far as the support and lockdown goes, I feel like, you know, the Kyrie Low 5 is going to be good. The Kyrie Low 4 was awesome. You know, of course, we do have these wings. The foam does come up to act as a sidewall, and we have an internal TPU heel counter. The Kyrie Low 5, we have the same stuff. You know, we have the foam coming up, acting as a sidewall here in the forefoot, and we have an internal TPU heel counter. We don't have any wings though, you know. I mean, this I feel like doesn't add too much support, and as you guys can see, this yellow part is deceiving because it's pretty much the same material and thickness, right, as the material here in the toe box. So that definitely does suck. You know, the Kyrie Low 4 actually had like plastic wings. And for the lateral stability, let's see what shoe is wider. They're pretty much the exact same actually. Maybe the Kyrie Low 4 is a little bit wider, just a tiny bit actually, look. But not that big of a difference. So I had no issues with the Kyrie Low 4. I don't think I'm gonna have any issues with the Kyrie Low 5. Moving on to the materials. So here in the Kyrie Low 4, we have like this textile material, right? But we do have like a grid pattern over it. It's extremely thin, it conforms to your foot, and also pretty damn supportive. And then the Kyrie Low 5 is also like a textile material, but it has kind of like a different pattern on it. It doesn't have a grid pattern, obviously, right? You know, they're both really soft and thin materials. It feels great on foot if you want a minimal feel. And then also here in the midfoot area, both of these shoes have very minimal materials, right? And then here in the Kyrie Low 5, also super minimal. For the tongue, I would actually say they're around the same, you know, as far as the padding goes. But the shape of the tongue is pretty different. So we have a regular tongue here in the Kyrie Low 4, and then here in the Kyrie Low 5, we have an asymmetrical tongue, which is pretty weird. I don't know why they did that, but it doesn't really feel that different like on foot. And then here in the ankle area, I would say the padding is very similar as well. So on foot, they both feel pretty much the same, honestly, right? Alright, moving on to the weight of the shoe. The Kyrie Low 5 is extremely light. It's like 11 ounces, right? Yeah, 11.01 ounces. The Kyrie Low 4 is also super light, but it's a little bit heavier than the Kyrie Low 5, 11.78 ounces. So they definitely shed off a good amount of weight, which is surprising. I wonder where all that weight came from. You know what I mean? Like, I guess the plastic piece, and I guess they are using a little bit less rubber here on the medial side, right? It's a little bit less rubber. I mean, rubber is pretty heavy, and maybe the foam is a little bit lighter as well, right? Oh, maybe here, you know, the rubber outsole, they did shed off a little bit of weight actually, right? Here in the middle of the outsole from the Kyrie Low 5. But yeah, I mean, 0.7 ounces is a good amount of weight actually. Not to say the Kyrie Low 4 was heavy though. I mean, it definitely was not heavy. I mean, Kyrie Infinity, how much is the Kyrie Infinity weight? 12.13 ounces, right? So yeah, I mean, the Kyrie Low 5 feels extremely light and extremely minimal, and it feels awesome. And to be honest, the overall feeling of both of the shoes is extremely similar, like when you have the shoes on, but just that the Kyrie Low 5 is a little bit roomier here in the toe box. That was like the most noticeable thing for me. Alright, moving on to the aesthetics. I don't know, guys. I feel like I like the Kyrie Low 4 a little bit better, just a tiny bit. I really like the teeth design here on the outsole, but the Kyrie Low 5 still looks pretty dope, you know? So tell us what you guys think looks better down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, the Kyrie Low 5 definitely did upgrade in the cushioning department with the foam, I feel like, right? But they definitely did downgrade and the fit for me, which of course is subjective, but for me personally, I don't like how roomy it is here in the toe box. But everything else is pretty similar. You know, the traction is top tier in the Kyrie Low 4, and I feel like the Kyrie Low 5 is also going to be top tier. Material super thin, very minimal. I guess the Kyrie Low 5 does have an advantage for weight also, like 0.7 ounces lighter. And as far as like coziness goes, the foam here in the tongue and also in the ankle area is also super similar. So yeah, I mean, there are some subtle differences, but I don't know which one I like more right now. You know, I'm gonna need to play in the Kyrie Low 5 a little bit more, of course. So the versus video will be coming soon after I, of course, fully review the Kyrie Low 5. So that about concludes my initial comparison of the Kyrie Low 4 and the Kyrie Low 5. If you guys do want to cop either of these shoes, I try to leave an affiliate link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.